This is the Grow Your Clinic podcast from Clinic Mastery. We help progressive health professionals to lead inspired teams, transform client experiences, and build clinics for good. Now, it's time to grow your clinic.
Well, welcome back to another episode of the Grow Your Clinic podcast. My name is Jack O'Brien, your host, and with me in the co-hosting saddle today on the podcast, Ben Lynch. Welcome. How are you, my friend?
Doing super well, Jack O'Brien. How are you is the important question.
Well, I'm doing super well for a number of reasons, but predominantly because the coffee I'm drinking is mind-blowingly, world-changingly good. I'm curious, what are you drinking?
I've been drinking from our friends at Coffee in Common here in Adelaide, in Hindmarsh. They are super. They do some really great beans, but I'm drinking at the moment a Brazil, and it is delicious. Peanut butter and waffle are the tasting notes. I know.
There you go. Well, I love supporting local business too. I know you Adelaideans are passionate about local
South
business.
Australians do it so well. Support a local.
Well,
Shout out to my South Aussies.
I'm drinking Josie coffee from Newcastle, and I've got the bag here. It's actually, I'm part of their, for those watching on YouTube, actually, if you're listening to the podcast, this is on YouTube as well, that this is part of their Geisha Club. And of course, the first rule of Geisha Club, never talk about Geisha Club. But I've broken the rule.
Jack.
I know. I'm drinking a Panama Geisha. That is, get the process right, is an extended static cherry natural process.
Oh,
It's just wild. Cupping notes of jasmine, dark chocolate, and honey liqueur. It'll change your life.
That will. That is my favorite type of coffee. You know that.
Panama.
So you're just rubbing it in my face.
I know. But alas, here we go. So today on the podcast, folks, we're talking about our upcoming recruitment immersion. Now, if you're a clinic owner and you've got a heartbeat, you probably struggle to recruit. You find it a real challenge to attract talent. And so, Ben, can you tell us how this recruitment immersion came about inside Clinic Mastery?
We hear that narrative, Jack, that recruitment is a challenge. Whether it's a challenge right now or it has been, it probably will be in the future for clinics to find either quality applicants or just some applicants to come for their job. You know, depending on where you are, whether in the city or the country, they each have their own unique challenges. But at the end of it, people want more applicants and especially more quality applicants. So what we're going to help everyone with is building rigor around their recruitment. Ooh. And that looks at how they build out some systems in recruitment, because while a lot of people do have their challenges, there's a lot of people who are doing the same thing. And I think there's an opportunity to go deeper, to be more robust with what you do.
Right.
And that really comes back to our philosophy, which is you are always hiring rather than going these seasonal fits and spurts. You are always hiring. So what are some of the systems you're setting up to do that well? And so we're doing an immersion to, number one, get across the landscape of recruitment in all its different areas, and then to build out those systems or assets to help you always hire.
Assets for always hiring. Folks, if you are watching this on YouTube or you're on our website, you'll be able to find one of the video resources on assets to always be hiring. Ben, I'm curious, what is an immersion? You know, I know this isn't our first rodeo around immersions. So can you speak to the process or the philosophy behind a recruitment immersion?
It's similar in a way where you might do in your own health, like you go to the gym and you do a 12-week challenge, right? And there's a certain goal that you're going to have over that time period, and you work your butt off. We wanted to make this, yes, there's work, but more than that, it's about doing smarter work. Yes. So when you immerse yourself into an area, you get all the distinctions you need to do high impact with the greatest amount of ease. That's the filter that we're using here when we do immersive work. When you do that deep work, you're able to see things from a new perspective. So we all know everyone's busy. Everyone's got a massive to-do list. And while there's things that you do need to do to improve your recruitment, we want to make sure it's high value or high impact.
So recruitment immersion, how long are we talking? Like 12 weeks at the gym?
We're doing a 60-day immersion.
Why 60?
60, we wanted enough time and space in between the sessions so that you could take action and you could actually implement things. What we've tested over time are shorter immersions. We're doing longer immersions now. We find a mix depending on the topic so that you can actually do, because there's no point knowing more stuff if you're not doing it. A key emphasis on the doing in between. There's a famous quote by Bono from U2. Maybe it was from someone else, but I heard it through Bono, which was, the music happens between the notes. And so really the music or the momentum will be created between the sessions. The sessions will be a catalyst, if you would, for making clarity around the decisions or the distinctions you need to make to do purposeful action in between.
I love it. And I love that distinction of immersion as a comparison to an intensive, right? Where you kind of just get all this massive download, and we know that intensives usually lead to overwhelm, right? You become educated beyond your level of implementation.
Yeah.
I love that 60-day immersion. So you mentioned there's sessions. Give us a glimpse, peek behind the curtain. What are some of the topics that we'll be covering in these sessions?
Essentially, we've broken down recruitment into 5 stages. Now, it's never as cut and dry as that. It's way more colorful and complex, but 5 stages to give a framework for the clinics to look at their recruitment and building that robustness in their system. So 5 sessions covering the 5 stages of a recruitment journey. So I think about someone out there, a therapist, a prospective admin team member who has no idea about you.
Right.
What's their journey, literally from coming into awareness, their awareness that you exist, right all the way through to that hiring process, and we offer them the job? What are the stages? So we've got 5 stages there that we've identified. Each can be measured. And I think a key component will be looking at the Peter Drucker quote, what gets measured gets managed. So we're going to look at, how do we actually measure someone's progression through those stages, and then make sure we have initiatives or systems, assets set up that actually help people progress through those stages. And we can measure those stages, and we're going to share those assets for people to implement.
Tell me more about an asset. When you say asset, what are you talking about?
Think of an asset like a property, shares, something you might invest time or money into. That's what we're doing in our business. We're investing time or money into creating something that can exist within the community or our ecosystem, our industry, our profession, and yield value. So we're creating things that yield value. In this case, it might be subscribers. It might be members of a group. It might be applicants, quality applicants, team members. So that comes back to that, what gets measured gets managed. So an asset is something that we create that helps us with the sustainability element, the repeatability element of what we're doing, and that it yields value to the end user and yields value back to your clinic as well. So that's what we mean when we say an asset.
Right. So recruitment immersion, clinic owners will be building these assets in the heat of the moment to walk out with something tangible to help them with their attraction of quality applicants.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be giving and sharing a lot of assets that they can then tailor, and we'll be inspiring and showing examples of assets that they could also create their own version of as well. So the idea is that I know a lot of people have a need right now to recruit. We definitely want to help them there, and we will be focusing on that. But we want to focus on you, the clinic owner, 18 months from now, 24 months from now, 36 months from now, and go, how do we buck this trend or cycle of recruitment being such a challenge and build the brand equity that you can literally draw on?
Right.
And that comes through building out those assets that yield value. So it's very much about building your clinic brand to recruit more of the ideal team members.
Mate, I'm excited. Sign me up.
I'm excited to do it.
And it's running through parts of August, September, and October 2021. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, that sounds like what I need, your best option would be to get in touch ASAP. You can email me directly, jack@clinicmastery.com. I'll point you in the right direction and we can make that happen. If recruitment is front of mind, on the tip of your tongue and keeping you up at night, then this immersion is for you. Ben, I'm excited.
So am I. Can't wait.
No doubt. Hey, we might park the bus there on this episode. You get back to your Brazilian. I'll get back to my Panama geisha. And, we'll leave that one right there. Folks, thank you for joining us on the podcast. As always, head over to clinicmastery.com/podcast for any of the links, notes, or email me directly, jack@clinicmastery.com. There's a human on the other end. There'll be a smiling face in my inbox ready to say g'day. Thank you for joining us. Can't wait to bring you another episode. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Grow Your Clinic podcast. To find out more about past episodes or how we can help you, head to www.clinicmastery.com/podcast. And please remember to rate and review us on your podcast player of choice. See you on the next episode.